This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're gonna find ourselves in the forest, looking at all the beautiful green trees and other types of trees and watching some sunlight come down and hit it. And we're gonna be talking about photosynthesis today. This is a game from Blue Orange Games. It is for 2 to 4 players, takes about 45 to 60 minutes to play. This is a beautiful production. Let's take a look. I'll show you how you play and I'll see you on the other side. In photosynthesis, each player is going to get a board with these cool trees of different levels with the color of their choice. So there's green and orange, there's also blue and yellow ones too. But man, the production in this is amazing and these trees look awesome. Now each player also gets some extra trees that will be off their board that they're going to be using to place on the board at the beginning of the game. Each round the game goes through 2 different phases. The first one is photosynthesis, where depending on where the sun is, there's arrows, and it's going to shoot sun down each one of these rows, and people are going to get what's called light points. For example, this tree and this tree and this tree are all going to get 1 light point because it's a level 1 tree. This one is standing behind this one. This is a level 1 tree, so it casts a shadow 1 away, so this one's not going to get any light points. However, if this was a bigger tree, it would be able to get the light points because it's going to get the sun from over that smaller tree. And since it's a level 2 tree, it's actually going to get 2 light points. And as you probably guessed, if this was a level 2 tree, it's going to block the sun 2 away, so this still would not get any if it looked like that. And there's up to 3 levels of trees. They all act the same. Level 1 is 1 tree, level 2 is the 2nd tree, and level 3 is the 3rd tree. They all block 1, 2, and 3 spots of light. Now each player starts with a full board of trees and seeds, and they also start with some over here that are known as available. Once you've gained all your light points, each player in successive order will go through and spend as many or as little as these as they want. You can do a few different things with your light points. You can spend 1 light point to place an available seed up to 1 spot away from any single level 1 tree, or 2 spots if it was a level 2 tree, or 3 spots away if it was a level 3 tree, making thematic sense. And all that is shown on your player board here. It costs 1, and you can put a seed out depending on how far it is from a certain size tree. You can also basically grow. So from a seed to a smaller tree, it's level 1 tree is 1. From a smaller one to a medium is 2. From a medium to a larger is 3. And if you want to end the life cycle, you can collect point tokens by taking the largest tree out for 4 and getting point tokens. However, there is a major restriction in how things can be done. If this was a level 1 tree, I could then grow this for a level 2 tree, but I could not then grow this right into a level 3 tree. Essentially, any tree you've touched that round to do anything with, you can't do anything else with it. Same goes for seeds, and same even goes for spaces. Now, as you replace trees on your board, they'll be getting put back here. If there's room, if there's not, it ends up going out of the game for good. And the price gets more expensive as you go up. The bigger trees are more expensive, and as you get more of them, the prices of those go up, and you're spending these light points to do that. So each player is going to get their light points, and then in turn order going to spend as many or as little light points that they want, and then we'd go to another round. Now each round works with this moving clockwise to the next section of the quadrant of this little hexagon here. And so we'd start again, light points, and then the next player would get the first player marker, and they would be able to go. And this continues. I think this thing will travel around the board a total of 6 times until it gets back to the sun. And once that happens, you'll take 1 of these off. It'll be 2 rounds left, and then that's it. Once it gets down here, so the sun's going to travel around the board 3 times, and the game is over. Let's talk about these different scoring tokens. Now on the board, you can see that there's a 1 leaf around the edge, 2 leaves as you get closer, 3 leaves as you get even closer, and 4 leaves in the middle. So let's say we had our big, large level 3 tree here. If I wanted to spend my 4 light points, I could end the life cycle of that and collect a token of this type, which is here. And you would take the first one, and as you start to go down, they start going down in points. But in general, as you can see from level 1, so from the 1 leaf to more leaves, they are more points. So you get more points from taking a large tree off one of the inner spots, but it's sort of balanced because it's harder to get light in there once all the trees are blocking each other. So that's pretty much the game. You're basically spending light points to move trees here, knowing that once you move them here, you cannot move them out on the same round. You're also replacing smaller trees with larger trees that are available out on the game. You're putting seeds to help seed to start more new trees, and you're essentially trying to get that largest tree out on the board to be able to finally get points for those. And after 3 rounds and the sun has gone through all 3 rounds, whoever has the most points is the winner. All right, well, there's Photosynthesis. Well, there's no doubt that this game is absolutely gorgeous. You know, Blue Orange Games typically does a lot of small games, some children games, but about once a year, they've been coming out with these big box games. Started with New York 1901 a couple years ago, and then the Vikings on Board, and now this. Now, I gotta say, this is so stunning. You know, when all the pieces are set up and it's everyone's got the player board, you get the different colors, you got, you know, it's just, it's got such table presence, I'd say, or people are going to be walking around and go, what is that? That looks different. And it's definitely a huge positive for this game is how gorgeous the artwork is, not only on the box, but also with the trees, and there's even little detail in the trees. There's little birds in there and things like that. It's just knocked it out of the park absolutely with the production of this game. I'd say the game itself, because of the theme and because of the way it looks, is really a breath of fresh air. It's just, there's so many games coming out in a certain year, and you know, I'm just tired of seeing the same old thing, the same old themes that just because they sell well, you're gonna push it down our throats. And this is just a beautiful breath of fresh air that's so different, and I love that about this game. Now this game, I don't know if you'd call it a straight up abstract game, because there is such an economic element to it where those light points is sort of the economy or currency of the game, but it definitely has very much abstracted roots where you're, pun not intended actually, where you're, everything is just so thematic, and I love that in this game where, hey, I'm going to plant a seed, and then it's going to go up to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. The way the light works, where, hey, the light's going to come and it's going to get blocked by you because your tree is it's a level 2 tree, and I am at least 2 within you, and it's going to block you. But if you have a level 2 tree and I have a level 3, even if it normally would have blocked me, now it won't because I'm taller than you. And it's just like, wow, just all the thematic aspects here just make sense where you're putting seeds out there. You know, you can go 1 away from a smaller tree, 2 from a medium tree, and 3 from a larger tree because they're bigger, they're going to drop seeds further out. It just totally makes sense, and I love that for an abstracted game, it's probably, for an abstract game, this is probably one of the most thematically amazing games that I've probably ever played. So those are a lot of things that were really positive about the game. All in all, I enjoyed the game. It's really good with 2, so the game plays very different with different player counts. And so overall, I did enjoy the game. It was interesting, it was fun, and I liked it. But I am going to talk about some of the things I did not like about the game. Number 1 is the player count thing, where it's very different feeling with each of the player counts. Two players, for me, is my favorite. It feels the most open, the most freeing, the most I can do what I want, the most I can get more things done. 4 players is just an absolute slugfest where you're getting blocked by every angle at all the board through the entire game, and it's harder to get points because there's more trees in there, the board doesn't scale, and it just makes it harder. Now the game itself is already punishing. It's already really hard with 4 players, and it's already very hard even without 4 players because of the restrictions in the game. Now, I understand the game was probably designed and developed, and the developers and designers know way more about this game than I do, but for me, I felt like the fun of the game was putting things out, having big turns, watching your trees grow, getting points from them, but the restrictions of never being able to use the same piece twice in a round or the same space twice in a round felt very restricting to me. Now, I understand why they did it. Maybe they really want you to think rounds ahead like most abstract games do, and I get that. But I really wanted to be like, okay, oh cool, I can block this guy. He's got a level 2 tree. I've got a level 1 tree. I've got a level 2 and 3 already pulled out. Let me put the level 2 there, and if I have enough light points in the currency, let me get it to the level 3 so I can now block them because the sun's about to come over. And I don't understand why you can't do that. Maybe it would break the game. Maybe it would just be too much of a free-for-all. Maybe it would be too mean. Maybe it would be just too much of a tactical game than a strategic game at that point. But I really wanted to be able to do more in my turn because, hey, look, if I'm doing that, then there's other things I'm not spending my light points on that I probably could be doing. So I felt the game was a little too, or a lot more restrictive than I would have liked it to be. Now, granted, that's not as bad with the 2 players because it's a little more open and you're getting more light points generally, but in a 4-player game, oh my gosh, it's really hard because you're not getting as many light points and it's restrictive. And that comes down to sort of the end of the game. You know, at the end of the game, it really comes down to the scalability of the board, because that's another thing where the game does not scale at all between the different player counts. There's one difference where the middle spot token gets taken out for the scoring. Okay, but the board doesn't scale. The points and how many chips there are there, the points don't scale. I feel like the game could have been better if it was scaling to the different player counts, so you got a consistent feeling throughout the game no matter what the player counts are. I don't know if this would have meant more development time. I don't know if this was rushed out to get out before or what, but I really feel like the game could have got more development to make the different experiences feel similar, as to so different between 2 to 4 players. And that takes you down to the end of the game. I mean, you have to look at the end, and because of that scaling nature, it typically ends up being the one who gets the most chips wins, which means whoever's the most efficient, and maybe doesn't mean as much as going to the middle, but you have to look up not just 1 turn in advance, not 2 or 3, but towards the end of the game, you have to look at 6 turns in advance. I mean, you're sitting there, the sun just got past the second time, and you're looking and you're going, okay, I have 6 turns left, I gotta get 2 of my big trees off for scoring points. How do I do that? And you're literally looking at 6 turns and coming backwards. And that's a little too far for me to be calculating every move I'm going to be doing, because it really hinges on you being able to get your trees off usually on the last round. So there's tons of things I like about this game. Again, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was a good game. I'll probably play it more than I would like to because of how amazing the artwork is and what a fresh theme this is. But I think it could have been an excellent, fantastic, amazing game if some of these rougher edges were fixed. So I can at least say try this one because it is very enjoyable. I liked it with 2 the best. 4 I probably will never play again because of just how hard and what a slugfest it is, and the way it doesn't scale and the downtime as everyone's thinking about all their stuff. Also in 4 players, if you're the first player, you're not getting another turn for 6 more turns, because you 3 turns and then the thing gets passed, and then 3 more turns. To sit there for 6 turns is just, I won't do it ever again. So anyway, check it out. It's definitely worth trying. It's beautiful. It's fun. It just has some problems that I couldn't get over, but you might not mind the restrictiveness. And if you don't, that's definitely one to check out, and that's Photosynthesis.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.